right side. Decker to throw. Looks to that right side. Nobody open. Now he'll run it to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown! UNLV marches right down the field. 7-0.
Decker showing off some wheels against Air Force in a late game loss to the Falcons in 2014. We're going to continue our conversation live from Las Vegas in the 2015 Mountain West Football Media Days with the hometown team, the UNLV Rebels. Pleased to be joined by Peni and Blake Decker, the guy you saw on the screen right there, the quarterback for the Rebels here in 2015. Last season, the Rebels go 2-11 overall, 1-7 in the Mountain West, finished 6th in the West Division, led to some changes in Rebel Country. There's a new head coach in Tony Sanchez coming over from Bishop Gorman High School right here in Las Vegas. So let's start there. Let's start as you guys return 12 starters, 5 on offense, 5 on defense, a kicker, and a punter. But the big change at the top in the coaching staff. What have you guys noticed? We'll start with you, Peni, in what Coach Sanchez brings that maybe you were missing in the recent future of the recent past, I should say, of Rebel football?
I want to say the attitude and just the type of energy the man brings. You know, Coach Sanchez, since the day he stepped on as the UNLV head coach, he's brought a lot of energy, a lot of hype, and he's just been a man of his words lately.
I know, but like, this is a guy who is somewhat of a local celebrity in Las Vegas. Pretty much could have stayed probably for life at that school with the amount of success that he's had, whether it be state championships or what's thought to be a national championship at the high school level. Why do you think, in your opinion, did he say, you know what, this is where I need to be, I want to lead these guys on the football, and Rebel football is where I need to be at this point in my career?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting you say that. I remember one of the first things that he talked to us about in the first team meeting we had was that he could have spent the rest of his career at Bishop Gorman, coaching comfortably, winning every single game for the rest of his life, honestly, winning a state championship every year. But he's the type of guy that enjoys a challenge. He enjoys being a competitor, being that fierce competitor, and proving it at every level that he can. So to make that jump, it was just natural for him, and we love having that fiery spirit at the top for us, and it trickles down to us and helps us gain that competitive edge, and so we're excited about it.
Now, nationally, Peni, Coach Sanchez is known as the UNLV coach, but that's not what he's probably most famous for right now.
Right.
How much did you guys watch Snoop and Son to get a read on who your new coach was and who he might be? He said it was a great recruiting tool because people and incoming recruits knew who he was, knew what he is about, knew how he ran practice, knew that there was a little bit of attitude at practice,
Right.
and he became someone that people would like to play for. How much did you or your teammates maybe get an insight to him before he ever talked to you guys?
I mean, for me personally, I started off by asking around some of the players who've played for him at the high school level, you know, how was he as a coach? But I ain't gonna lie, I did watch a couple episodes of those to really see how he was, you know, on video and stuff like that. And I mean, he's a good guy. So. Did
you feel like you knew him, Blake, before he ever even stepped on campus?
Yeah, I feel like we had a good feeling for like how he was going to be, how he was going to interact with the players. Yeah, we had a couple guys that played for him at Bishop Gorman, so we'd already talked to them, and we had heard how hard he was on his quarterbacks, on certain position groups. So we were excited just to get him out there in spring and see if it transitioned, if he was going to be the same coach that we saw on TV as we saw out there on the field, and it turns out he was. He's consistent and he's constant across the board, so we love that about him.
He told me earlier today that he is absolutely hardest on quarterbacks. You being the guy that they're likely going to take the snaps under center here this year for the Rebels. Last year you threw for 300 or more yards 3 times. Had some great games, had some points where you admitted this morning to me that you got to be better with the decisions, quicker with the decisions. It's okay to punt the football. It's not okay to throw interception. How do you balance that in being aggressive, but also not being too aggressive where you take shots, unnecessary shots that may cost your team?
Yeah, I think you need to pick your spots. I think you need to have a game plan going in on the down and distances that you want to take shots. I think you need to know, just in certain spots on the field where you're comfortable with making those throws and where you're comfortable not. And obviously you never want to turn the ball over, but as we talked about earlier, kind of just playing within myself and making sure that I'm playing just to get the ball out to our playmakers that we have. In so doing, we're going to limit turnovers, and that's going to help us out.
A best friend for a quarterback is usually a running back that you guys can rely on, that can take some pressure off. UNLV has had that in the past with Tim Cornette, Shaq Murray-Lawrence. They're now gone. The running backs a little bit inexperienced this year. Who's going to be the guy that takes some pressure off of you as a quarterback from the running back position?
Yeah, we have 3 or 4 kids that are going to have to battle it out during camp, and I think the majority of them are going to get touches this fall, and they're going to be counted on to be in there to pick up some big yards for us and some big gains. And So, yeah, we've got 3 or 4 that can get the job done, and we're expecting all of them to produce for us this year.
Defensively, Penny, you've been one of the most productive tacklers in UNLV history. Got a chance to move into the top 10 all-time at the school here. You're 28 away. You originally signed it at Utah State, but you decided, you know what, want to be a Rebel, and you've had a great career. Looking back, have you had the career that you wanted that you envisioned up into your senior year? And what do you expect out of yourself this year as a leader, as a guy who is looked upon and relied upon to get to the quarterback and also tackle ball carriers?
Personally, I didn't think I was going to have this much success, you know, as a Rebel. But, you know, going into my senior year, I look forward to achieving some goals I've always had in mind, you know, postseason, all Mountain West first team and such like that. But, you know, just got to do my 1/11th and just be there for the team.
And you talk about those other 10 guys to make up that 11, and I look at the linebackers, and you guys are stacked with talent at linebacker, and that's a good place to start if you want experience, guys that call out defensive plays and really can disrupt an offense. You guys have some talent at linebacker. I'm sure you're pretty excited about those guys.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Our linebacker core, you know, as a defense, they may be our strongest core right now.
You guys, wide receiver, you look at a guy like Devontae Boyd who lit the world on fire last year, Mountain West Freshman of the Year, a guy that really stepped up and was one of the top receivers, not only in the Mountain West, but one of the top receivers in the country. How can he get even better than what he did in his freshman year, and a guy that can go up and get the ball for you?
Yeah, I mean, he stepped into a role that I don't think he was even expecting he was going to have to play last year, honestly. And I think, yeah, being expected to be the guy this year and actually knowing that that's going to be his role, I think the sky's the limit. I think he can produce even better than he did last year, and then having a guy on the opposite side of the field in Kendall Keys who's going to stretch the field as well and make a lot of plays, along with 4 or 5 other receivers that we have that can all make plays, and a couple tight ends. They're going to do a good job for us. Yeah, it's going to be hard to try to lock down just one guy offensively, and if you do, then we'll spread the ball around, and a lot of guys are going to make plays. But yeah, the sky's the limit for the kid. He's one of the best we have and one of the best in the Mountain West.
You'll need all that production and more as you guys face a very tough schedule, especially right out of the box. The Rebels will be tested here in 2015. You got games at Northern Illinois, you take on UCLA, and then at Michigan before you return home to round out the non-conference schedule against Idaho State. Penny, games at UCLA, game at Michigan. I mean, that's what that's what you dream of as a high school player coming to a college program. If you can't play for a team like UCLA or Michigan, you want to play against them and you want to beat them. You'll get that chance.
Right, definitely. You know, when you're in high school, that's, you know, you're looking forward to those type of big games like that. And I mean, to be a part of it this year, it should be great, especially in an atmosphere like Michigan.
Some home games, Blake, that you guys have. You got Boise State coming to Sam Boyd. You got San Diego State, 2 teams that are preseason predicted to win their division. So you got some really good games at Sam Boyd Stadium. Be a good chance to showcase Rebel football in the conference season against some high-caliber talent and high-caliber teams like that.
Absolutely. I mean, we're trying to, and Coach Sanchez has done an amazing job of just creating that buzz and that atmosphere around Vegas. So we're excited for our home crowd to get out to these big-time games, and we're going to put on a show for them. So we're excited with what's coming on.
There's no doubt the buzz is back in Rebel football here in Las Vegas. These two a big reason for that, as well as head coach Tony Sanchez. Appreciate all your accommodation here at Mountain West Football Media today, and good luck to the Rebels here in 2015.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate
Blake
it.
Decker and Penny Vea of the UNLV Rebels here on the Mountain West Network. When we come back from Las Vegas at the Cosmopolitan, we're going to talk with San Diego State and Pierce Slater and J.J. Whitaker. That's next, live right here on the Mountain West Network right after this.